Good day, Namibia, and welcome to yet another insightful episode of On the Farm with me, Josephina. Simeon. Today we will be looking at strawberry production.
There's more than 350 different varieties of strawberry plants, so you have to get the right cultivar first of all, and for example, this cultivar might grow very well here, but if you move 20 kilometers away it might not work there. So how do you get the right cultivar in? You have to plant different cultivars and see which ones works the best. Luckily, out of 20 different cultivars, we could get one that's performing very well in this area. But if you try and plant this cultivar in Windhoek, it might not work. So it's all climate, water, soil. Luckily over here it gets very, very cold. Strawberries like cold weather during nighttime and hot weather during daytimes. I think that's why this strawberries and this cultivar is working here. This cultivar has been tested to withstand minus 30 degrees Celsius. So the cold is not a problem for the strawberries. What happens in winter time, the plants they're pulling in the strawberries. In summer they're throwing them out, so they're protecting their fruit. They're very clever.
No wonder they're so under.
They're very under. That's because it's winter.
Leaves, yeah.
In summer it throws it out again.
Yeah, they're so hidden.
They're all hidden now, but in summertime they're all out again. They're growing outside. They do use a lot of water. Strawberries needs water. If you don't have water, you can't do strawberries. They need a lot of water.
And what type of soil is best?
Well, sandy soil. That's strawberries can only grow in sandy soil unless you use a grow medium like cocoa peat or well, there's so many grow mediums you can use, but the most common one is the cocoa peat. So we're going to move over to cocoa peat within the next 3 years. Then we're going to start stacking. So the soil, we're not going to use the soil at all anymore. So now for the first 3 years we can make use of the soil. After that we can't make use of the soil anymore. Because the tricky thing about strawberries, because strawberries can stay in the soil, one plant can go up to 5 to 6 years. But the trick is to keep the soil healthy.
How do you keep the soil healthy?
Well, you have to put manure and all your secret ingredients must go into the soil to keep the soil healthy. And that's the trickiest part of growing strawberries. So your soil must be good and they must be healthy, because 90% of what you see on top of the soil is happening underneath the soil. At the moment we're growing totally organic. We're going to try and keep it organic, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's not easy.
Maybe you can just add on to the challenges you have experienced after.
Well, in Namibia there's a lot of nematodes. So nematodes are very common in Namibia. So you have to get a plant that is nematode resistant. Nematodes, red spider, fungi, stuff like that you have to control, and it's easy to control with pesticides, but it's difficult to control it if you're doing it totally organic. So we'll use a couple of stuff which is organic, which we testing. It's working for us at the moment. We'll see in the longer term, on the next future, if it's going to last.
In terms of human capital, the labor, what
This is, well, just to grow strawberries, well, once again, strawberries doesn't like any wheat, so they must be wheat free. In order to do that, it must be wheat free, and in order to produce good quality strawberries. There's different methods you can use. Some people use grass to make their mulch. This is the black parts over here, in the middle is mulch. You have to mulch strawberries. If you don't mulch strawberries can't grow onto the soil, otherwise they get rotten. And that's why we're putting the plastics in between as well, to mostly to keep the wheat away.
How many times can one harvest a year?
Yeah, well, the strawberries we can harvest 12 months a year. There's different stages in strawberries. One at a certain time of the year they're making what we call runners. So then the plants making baby plants. In a commercial setup you have to cut them off. For the plant not to use its energy onto the baby plants, but rather on the fruits. Some of the blocks we keep the runners on the plants to make more plants. Then they usually the strawberries getting a little bit smaller that time of the year. But then again, if you cut them off, the plant puts everything back into the strawberries, not into the plant. So we want to supply the local market, but there's different reasons why we don't want to only supply the local market, because there's so many strawberry farms in South Africa at the moment producing strawberries, and that's already got an export market, especially the older older strawberry farms like Polka Dry, Helderberg. They export around about 50 to 60% of their strawberries, and then the rest of the 40% must go somewhere. And a huge part of that is coming to Namibia. We as vegetable farmers are 100% connected to the local or the South African prices. So whatever price they stock on their stocking system, we have to ask this side. So we can't charge anything more, otherwise they import. So for strawberries, it never happened that we would be able to close the borders for strawberries, because there weren't strawberries available in Namibia. So hopefully in future we can close the borders and supply locally. It will be nice for us to have a product overseas on the market, doesn't matter where overseas, with a Namibian flag on. So this is a proudly Namibian product. It's expensive to grow strawberries. You have to do the right water systems, all drip irrigation. The plastic and the molds are expensive. You unfortunately have to cover everything. You can't grow them outside. Otherwise, the only reason for that is because otherwise the birds will eat your fruit.
Oh, I thought that was a scientific.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's only because of birds. The wild animals will eat your fruit. Because everything likes strawberries. Everyone and every single small animal out there likes strawberries.
Any words for anyone who would like to venture into strawberry farming?
You see, strawberry farming is difficult the first 1 or 2 years, but you have to start knowing your plant, see how your plant reacts, and know what to do if something goes wrong. Unfortunately, it needs a lot of capital to start a strawberry farm. And that is it's not only strawberries, it's any vegetable farm these days are very expensive, and that's unfortunately, if a youngster wants to get involved in a project like this with no help, I will say it's almost impossible. You have to have some help and some money available, also some support available.
There you have it, Namibia. We were in conversation with Etienne Bottas, who was telling us about what goes into strawberry production in Namibia. Well, do catch us again next week for another edition of On the Farm. From me, Josephina Simeon, it's a wrap.